Hi, everyone. This is Angel Vallejo here to love, serve, and transform business and life. Welcome to the call. This is the Leadership Tips for Salespeople show, and I'm excited today because we have some really good tips that we're going to be sharing today. And I have none other than Jill on the line. Jill, are you there?
Hi, everybody.
Awesome, good stuff. Yeah, so we're really excited to just share a few tips with you this day, and I'm here with Jill. So Jill, kind of briefly share about yourself and what brought you to where you are today.
Thanks, Angel. Hello, everybody. I'm Jill Frack. I'm with Opportunistic Consulting, and what I like to do is help people and organizations identify opportunities within their business of how they can optimize their experience, increase productivity, and bring balance to the work that they're doing through reviewing their procedures and processes and uncovering hidden opportunities that they might not realize are there. And so what brought me here today is I have a background in industrial organizational psychology, which a lot of people are not familiar with. But basically what we do is we help organizations analyze their metrics or develop metrics for them, surveys, feedback. Less than 1% of data that's ever collected is analyzed. And a lot of people are telling you things through qualitative measures that you can count, but they're also telling you, or quantitative measures that you can count, but they're also telling you things through qualitative measures that you can't measure, but yet they impact whether they're going to return to you as a salesperson or whether they're going to go take their business somewhere else.
All right, good stuff. So that's pretty exciting. I want to kind of just hear, like the what is it like? Why do you do what you do? Because there's a lot of there's a lot of technicalities in what you do and the ins and outs of it. So what is it that really inspires you to do what you're doing?
So my belief is helping others, and within helping other people, I want to bring about change. And a lot of people, they go through the motions of everyday, day-to-day things. And I've always been somebody who's been a little bit of a nerd with numbers, and I enjoy numbers and producing results for people. I've always been oriented with sales goals when I had to sell things. I once was told I sold too much. I was told that I set records within high school and other things for sales and fundraising opportunities. And so I want to help other people see small changes that they could make within their process and within the way they conduct business that would help them grow their business.
Good stuff. So I see that you've had a lot of success in your journey, and you have a lot of accolades. And what's reflecting on your journey, on everything that's been that you've gone through from graduating high school to going through higher education to working and stuff. What has been really the greatest difference that has been so far in your journey?
So within the greatest difference, I got my education. I did my undergrad right after high school, and then I started my master's program pretty close to finishing my undergrad. And along the way, though, I had my master's degrees that I completed, but I would get laid off periodically through government-funded programs. And so one of the things is you go through those trials of life, but you need to find ways to reinvent yourself, new career paths, a lot of different opportunities out there. And that's where my business name, Opportunistic Consulting, is based on the Bible in Esther for such a time as this. And you need to take those opportunities. Esther was presented with an opportunity to help the people of her country and help them not be killed off by the king. And she saw that opportunity and she acted on it. And I want to help people find those opportunities and act on it. So like when I was laid off, I could have been depressed, I could have been sad, but I turned those into opportunities, and that led me to the next step in life of where I am today. And so that's what I want to help other people do.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love how you bring up the point of reinventing yourself. There's ways in and doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? But then really with the changing times and the culture that we're in, sometimes we need to pivot right, and go a different direction. So I'm excited for what you guys are doing over there. So let's get to the nuts and bolts. I know that this is what we're promising is that, you know, what is it, just give us 3 result producing advice that someone could really jot down right now and say, you know what, if you do this, that this could produce a result. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
So the first one I would go with data analytics. I briefly touched on that before, that you have qualitative data, which is the unspoken, unwritten things people might be saying about your product, about your services. If your customer service is lacking and they're telling their friends that your customer service is bad, you might not ever know that. But if you give your customers a survey, a small percentage of people will actually complete the survey, but there are incentives that you can use to have people increase your survey results and get these measurements. Because sometimes people leave businesses and you don't even realize that you lost a customer on something that you could have simply solved if only you had known. And data becomes the fuel for the decision-making process in your business, of how you drive your business forward, of what you choose to do, what avenues you choose to proceed with. So the next one, that leads me to, once you have the data, you can do strategic planning. So that would be like leadership number 2. Within the strategic planning, then you can do process improvement. Maybe you don't respond in a timely manner, or your employees don't respond in a timely manner. Maybe you're not getting that quote back in the time frame that the customer wants it returned in. Within that strategic planning, you can do goal setting, you can do cross training, you can do team building. You can motivate people within your sales force, depending if you're a manager of salespeople or if you're the salesperson yourself. How could you motivate your potential customer to act faster? Could you throw in an extra incentive? And this all leads into the strategic planning, then brings you into your organizational development. Whether you're an employee working as a salesperson or whether you're an owner working as a salesperson, you have to develop your organization, because if you want to grow, you're not going to end up having a path forward. And that's where it circles back to what I talked about with the opportunities. You need to find those opportunities and identify them. And some of this stuff sounds, to some people, they might, oh, that's simple. Well, yes, some of the most simplest concepts are sometimes the hardest things to figure out within your own business, because it requires you to take a hard look at yourself. And so within those leadership areas, that's where it's sometimes best to know too, as a salesperson, you might be an expert at what you do, but you might not realize the things that would help your business grow. And that's where it's important to know when to hire somebody else to help you. And a great example is, like, I'm not a plumber. If I need a plumber, I'm going to call a plumber. I'm not going to try to do the water work myself and then have a bigger problem. So especially when it comes to sales and planning, you're taught specific tips as a salesperson of how to sell, how to close, how to do things, and you don't have time within your sales area to work on these other areas, and somebody can come in and help you, which will increase your results. And a lot of salespeople, the number one thing they say is, I don't have enough time. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. And within these areas, it is stuff that takes time, and that's where we come in and help people. And there's consultants that can do that as well. But we're here to help you take a strategic approach to what you're trying to accomplish.
That's awesome. Yes, I love it. I love it. So there's a lot of good stuff that you just shared, and I just jotted down, just really, you know, for those of you that are looking, I recommend that you take notes, take copious notes. And one is the data analytics. And I know that's it may sound very technical, and that's what's awesome, that there's people that can go in there and analyze your daily business. And what really came to mind for me was just feedback, getting feedback, asking for feedback. And with the people that you're working with, or the people that you desire to work with, is one. The second one is strategic planning. She gave some really good tips on strategic planning. And it could be as simple as goal setting, team building, or maybe putting incentives out there, which is really awesome. And then third was organizational development. And that's all about growth, right? So many of us are in business, we want to continue to grow our business. We want to increase our sales, which is really, really good. So I thank you for that. So all social correctness aside, this looks good, right? It sounds good. But what is something that you really, that you've never shared with somebody that you think that you feel that people really need to hear at this point in time?
I think the big thing is that in society, everybody's so busy. They're busy with their work, they're busy with their family, they're busy with hobbies. Like everybody's so busy. And it's okay to ask somebody for help. A lot of the things within businesses that business owners and business people don't realize is your business can only grow to the extent of which you delegate. And if you can't delegate it out to somebody else, you have to look at your business processes, because you might be great as a salesperson, but if you're trying to spend time on tasks that's not your skill, that's not your calling, you're going to end up wasting a lot of time that you could be meeting new people, creating new sales, creating new opportunities. And that's where it's like you have to know how to delegate within and ask for help from somebody else. And yeah, I understand there's a trust level with that. But you start with small tasks like, hey, can I trust you with this? Or you get a referral from somebody else. Hey, have you ever had somebody do this? Like there's virtual assistants that can help you with certain tasks like project management. They can follow up on details. They can answer emails, schedule appointments. A lot of the tasks that maybe you hate, somebody else loves, and that's where their skill is, and they'll help you grow your business. And that's basically another tip of just delegate some stuff out for what you're not able to accomplish. You'll find the productivity will also increase as well.
That's great. Thank you, Jill. Thank you for sharing that. So is there any maybe favorite resources that you have that you've been using that have been working for you, or maybe a quote or an app that you might recommend?
So some of the stuff that I like is I'm into a lot of business leader books like Marshall Goldsmith, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, or Marshall Goldsmith's Triggers book, right? They all address certain different psychology things within the workplace that I believe you have to read like a book a month to grow yourself, because if you don't read any books or grow, you're not going to end up any different than where you started out at like the start of the year. And so my goal that I try to do is read one business related book a month. And people are like, well, I don't have time for that. No, you really don't have time to not do that, because you're finding out what's going on in the marketplace and what's changing. And it's really, so one of the books that I mentioned, Marshall Goldsmith, the other one that I like is Patrick Lencioni's The Ideal Team Player. And that's because it talks about 3 components of what makes a good person to work with, what makes a good coworker, a good boss. And it talks about being humble, hungry, and smart. And within those 3 areas, you want a little bit of balance of, you want a smart person to work for you, but yet you don't want them to be like over cocky, but yet you want them to be humble, that they can work with other people, receive criticism and feedback, and yet you want them to be hungry, that they're going to be a go-getter. And so like those are some of the books that I've recently been using and incorporating within my own business.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a really good point that you make, is really setting some time aside to continue for your personal and professional growth, whether it be reading a book, watching videos, and continuing that growth process. Because I mean, I have mentors that spend the majority of their morning is nothing but just quiet time, reading, and getting centered before they run off and go out throughout their day, because they're so busy that they need to slow down and really read a book or have that time to really get centered. So awesome, good stuff. So how for anyone that wants to get connected with you, how can you be reached? How can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so my website is my business name, which is Opportunistic, and that's OPPORTUNISTIC. I think Angel can also possibly post a link to it once the webinar description goes live, but it's opportunistic.life. I'm also available on LinkedIn for Opportunistic, or my name is Jill Frack. So you can LinkedIn me, send me a message, say, hey, I saw your webinar and I'd like to connect with you. The other thing is on Facebook as well. I'd love to be in touch with you if you have any feedback for me about something that you think that I said that would help salespeople go deeper. I would be more than willing to receive it, and that way I can help other people as well. And there's email. So there's a bunch of different ways to connect with me, and I'd love to hear from you and know what you thought, or if I can help you in any way with your business. Please feel free to reach out to me.
Awesome. Thank you, Jill. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us today. And thank you for those of you that are on the line right now and watching, and maybe watching in a later time. This is Leadership Tips for Salespeople. And we're excited. Hopefully you got some good nuggets today. Please leave a comment below of what's inspiring you. And we'll see you next time. God bless.